that. That's actually maturity right there. Working out 5-6 days a week, well in advance of the season, acknowledging and owning the fact that you hear the negativity and the criticism. A lot of it is fair. Obviously, some people go overboard sometimes in being critical, but we've talked about him a lot, Timmy, the last few months into the playoffs. He's at a crossroads of his career. It's not about money right now. It's about, hey, are you the guy we've seen flashes of? Now, they've tried to trade him, I know for a fact, at least twice this offseason, let alone during the season last year at the trade deadline. And they weren't able to for a variety of reasons. And I think not trading him might actually be the best thing the Phoenix Suns did, because we've seen flashes where he could be a dominant player. What's the story with that?
I agree with you on not trading him because you see flashes of, and it was about the coach.
Monty Williams. He and Monty didn't get along.
Him and Monty Williams did not get along. But you know what I think it is? I think you should just go out there and play the game. You're supposed to be practicing on your game. You're supposed to get better.
Sure.
You're supposed to get stronger. You're supposed to work on agility. You're supposed to work on those 15 mid-range foot jump shots. You're supposed to work on your low post moves. All right? So him just saying that, it doesn't mean nothing. I want to see you go out there and do it. I think it started when he got his shot blocked on that little dunk against Giannis in the championship game. Right here, when Giannis came out of nowhere and blocked his shot, which was a great, amazing play by Giannis. But you know what? From that point on, I think he haven't recovered from then. And I think now he's going to come back. He understands what he needs to do to make this team better. And he is the core. He is one of the core guys on this team. So he's going to come back and play his butt off and do what they asked him to do. Rebound. Block shots. You're gonna get the ball down low. You just gotta finish. Don't be lazy in finishing. Finish the ball the way it's supposed to be finished, like a big man.
And here's Plaxico. What I think the great thing for Ayton is he's not being asked to carry anything.
Right.
Because you've got 1, 2, 3 generational scorers.
Yes.
He don't have to score. He'll get his buckets. But if you play your ass off on defense, get double-digit boards every night, you're going to get opportunities to have nights when you do score 20-plus points. But there's no pressure on you to have to carry a team offensively.
DeAndre Ayton is not a bad player. I think his role is going to change with the Phoenix Suns adding Bradley Beal to the roster. But his numbers should be 15 and 15. He can do that. And people are talking about him, but they need him to rebound, be more physical in the paint, and just score points and rebound. That's all he really needs to do on his team.
Be an all-around player, like Plex said. Be an all-around player that he can be. He could be a 15 and 15 guy with 2 or 3 blocks, shots a game.
Yeah.
And get mainly just second chance buckets. And you know what? A lot of people don't understand about this sign of Bo. To me, Bo, a lot of people don't know about him.
Sure.
I think he's going to have a great chance out there to show people what he can do. And I think he's better than Victor Wembanyama, or whatever his name is.
Wembanyama.
Bo?
Yes. Bo has better physical talent and ready to play in the NBA right now than Victor is.
He's got a couple years head start.
Yes.
But I hear you. Look, I just think, and I know they've tried to trade him, and I know he didn't get along with Monty. I imagine he and Frank Vogel start fresh, clean slate. I haven't coached you. You haven't played for me.
And Frank
Let's
wanted
start
him.
fresh.
Frank didn't want to trade him. Frank wanted him to be there and to stay there because he knows that that's his anchor back there. To block shots and be a guy that we can lob to and make easy buckets for.
All right, let's go to the second NBA story for you right now. Of course, it involves Draymond Green. Yeah, so he doesn't like Chris Paul.
No,
and
he still doesn't.
And he still doesn't like Chris Paul, which I'm not sure the benefit of saying that. I guess you appreciate a man's honesty. And he was obviously asked the question. We didn't play the question for you, but the question's obviously, hey, Chris Paul joins your team now. You've spent a decade fighting Chris Paul, and you've been publicly critical of Chris Paul. You came out and said you don't like Chris Paul. Well, now you're sharing a locker room with Chris Paul, and a lot of this still goes back to the Jordan Poole stuff. We've seen what happens when you don't like somebody, but I don't get the benefit to the Golden State Warriors of Draymond Green coming out and trying to talk like a tough guy about this is real life. No, you're playing basketball, and Chris Paul, in theory, should help your team win games.
Well, I say this. Scottie Pippen didn't like Dennis Rodman.
Okay.
Did not like Dennis Rodman, did not want Dennis Rodman on the Chicago Bulls, didn't want to sign off on it. And Phil Jackson said, what do we have to do for you to sign on? He said, if Dennis Rodman come to me and apologize to me,
really,
I will sign on. Dennis Rodman swallowed his pride because he wanted to play and he wanted to win championships. He understood what their goal was. He went and apologized to Scottie Pippen in his face, and it went from there. I understand what Draymond Green is saying. Draymond Green, he doesn't like Chris Paul. They competed against each other for a decade. It's been talk.
Sure.
It's trash talking about
part of the game. You guys all do it, right?
And sometimes it got personal. Sometimes it didn't get personal. But if you're a trash talker, you got to take personal stuff that goes along with trash talking. So that's the way it is. So I understand what Draymond Green is saying, but Chris Paul is a professional.
Right.
He's there. He wants to win.
Like you said, he's a dog.
He's a dog, and he's a professional. He wants to win. And I believe that when they get in the room together and talk this out, they're going to become teammates and go further from there. Because Chris Paul, everywhere he went to, a lot of guys didn't like Chris Paul, but everywhere he went to, OKC, Phoenix Suns, Houston Rockets, they won. Their percentage of winning went up.
Sure.
So he is, at last year, their percentage was down, the Warriors. I think that he's going to help them get their percentage back up, get them back in the playoffs. And if he stays healthy, if Chris Paul stays healthy, and if he's on that team, and coming off the bench like everybody say he is, and can help him be a threat off the bench, they can win another championship.
Is it easy to say, like, two guys got to get in a room and hash it out, or is it just his play's going to help them hash it out?
Chris Paul is going to want to get in the room with Draymond and
one-on-one, right?
And they're gonna get in the room one-on-one. It might be the other guys in there, but they might, just like this, they might be in there just talking and get everything straight then. That's how you get it done. You got to talk, you got to communicate with one another. Because if you don't communicate,
you got a problem.
Then you got a problem. It's going to just
it
festers all year long. So I think they are going to
Did you ever have issues with guys in the locker room where, looking back on your career, you're like, man, I wish I had talked to a guy?
I didn't have any problem with any guys in the locker room, but I kind of went through a similar situation what Draymond was going through in 2004 when the Giants, we played here. Pittsburgh, we played here.
Right.
And I had a hamstring issue, so I didn't play in the game. And Frank Walker from the Giants was just like going crazy on me on the sideline. He was just chirping. And I'm like, who is this kid, man? I don't even know him. And he was saying some stuff that was pretty personal, and it kind of got my blood boiling a little bit. And I said, oh, man, if I was playing, I would destroy you today. You know what I mean? And he just kept going at me. And I was going to, approach him on the field like, yo, man, I don't even know you. Like, what's going on? And he darted off to the locker room, so I never got a chance to talk to him. A year removed from that, I'm on the roster of the New York Giants, and Frank Walker is on the team. And when I see him, it's just, we didn't speak to each other for at least 2 or 3 months.
Really?
Yeah, because it was still there. And, one day he came, I spoke to him, he spoke back, and our relationship grew and grew. And I got to interact with him. I got to know what kind of person he was.
Yeah.
And he became one of my best friends on the team, and we still talk today.
Yeah, that's crazy, right?
Wow.
Did you avoid him the first couple months, or did he avoid you? Was it kind of mutual?
It was just an ego thing.
Yeah, I ain't talking to him.
I ain't talking to him, and he ain't talking to me. And we would just walk by each other every single day.
Yeah.
And we was competing against each other. He was defensive back, and I was a wide receiver. So every time I got to the line of scrimmage, I was trying to absolutely destroy him.
Yeah.
And let him know, like, look, man, I'm the real deal over here. Don't be talking crazy to me. and with all that, we became good friends.
Do you remember the first conversation you guys had, like how it started or why it even happened?
It was just, I think the friction of us, seeing each other every day,
right,
and going against each other, and just the competitiveness in us. I just kind of broke down. It kind of broke the ice. And
I like that. I'm going to try that with our producers. That's a good way to go. Like, this better be I just ain't talk to him. So one pass him.
And I love Frank Walker, man.
Which one?
But he's your guy now, right?
Which one are you talking about?
I'm talking about like Zach, Ethan, and Jacoby.
All three of them.
I'm just talking to him.
It's got to be a one-on-one situation.
Matter of fact, I'm going to have a buffer. If you want to talk to me, you got to talk to that guy. Hey there. Thank you so much for watching The Carton Show. You can subscribe right here to get all the latest bits and segments from the show. And by the way, while you're at it, we have a lot of great shows on FS1, so check them out too.